Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right. I'm a little bit behind schedule. The coaching call today from season 4 stuff was a little longer than I expected, so I started like 30 minutes late.
Oh,
So,
well, it's no
No,
big
no
deal.
worries, man. Thank you for even doing this.
yeah.
Our whole
So,
our whole schedule is just Rocket League tonight, so it's fine.
gotcha. All right. So, I
Yeah,
just
I
finished
don't.
up on that. Sorry, I'm just kind of checking off my checklist from my last session here. So you
All
guys
good.
wanted to do the 2v2 replay analysis, right?
Yeah, so this
Okay.
is just our last game before we started week two,
All right.
and yeah, we were terrible. So I just figured, well, or as Luke would say, average.
Sure.
This is
Um,
our C game.
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we
Did
just
you
want to see
have
what
a
we're doing.
replay that you wanted to send me right away?
Yeah. It's
You
that one
can.
I
I was
put in
gonna.
the chat. Do you want like the actual replay, or you want the ballchasing.com link?
Yeah.
What's
If you could
easiest?
give me the replay file, that'd be easiest, because then I can just drop it into my folder, and I can.
All right, hold on.
Then I can drop it in, and I can share my screen and stuff. We can go over it.
I believe it should be this. I think that's the right UID.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, A. Nope.
Not
Okay,
not
just
that one.
kidding. Hold on.
All right. All right.
I'll
Haven't
just
haven't done it yet.
re-download it.
All right.
Yeah. How do I download these again?
I believe there's a download button on the ballchasing.com website.
Ah, yeah. Yep, I see it.
On the
Okay.
right side, maybe on somewhere on there.
Yep. Okay.
I can also DM you the link you initially posted, Jolly, in the
Yeah,
replays.
that's the one I just used. All right, there we go. It's this one.
All right. Got it.
I don't know what
Um.
that other one is.
All right. So before I do anything, I'm also recording this, so I will upload the video to YouTube as well. I'm putting all of my coaching sessions into a GCR playlist on my YouTube channel. I've also got stuff like the 2v2 icebreaker tournament that my teammate and I played against, that we won, and we played against Luke and Ranny, and we beat him. So I uploaded the video there. I'm
Nice.
also posting all of my coaching sessions on there as well, so you guys will get to see that.
Cool.
You can
Cool.
check out my pre-training video. I actually did a personal best on the overhaul map
We
as
saw.
well.
We saw.
Oh, you
We
did? You
saw,
checked
dude.
it out
Yeah,
already?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, man. We no deaths, like 7 minutes something
Yeah,
seconds.
I think I beat Randy's time actually on it. I think his was
Oh,
like
nice.
7 minutes 30 something seconds. So I think I beat
You're
him by
just
a little
beating
bit.
Randy everywhere.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. He's a great player, right? So he's kind of
Yeah,
where
yeah.
he's the player I want to beat on a lot of this stuff.
Sure.
So,
Right.
all right,
It's
let me.
clear we've been training the wrong stuff because I can do the leth rings without dying in 17 minutes or so, but I cannot for the life of me get through the dribble training
Gotcha.
without dying 100 times.
Okay, so I'm sure I've actually in my last 2 coaching sessions today I have gone over dribbling already. So I will. I think I'm gonna have my talking points kind of down. So you guys are
Cool.
in luck. All right,
Sweet.
so I am recording this, so I'm gonna share my screen. I apologize if it's a little choppy, but you may have to watch the VOD after later if you can't quite see everything. I kind of have to stream it in potato mode just while I'm doing this at the same time.
No
All
worries.
good.
But I think I got it. So if I go into the replay, first off, I believe, can you guys see me drawing on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect. All right, so I'm really gonna pick since this replay, I'm only getting one replay from you guys, and I can always go over it again from another person's perspective. But in twos, it's gonna be hard for me to pick apart every little thing from both of you guys. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to watch it from one person's perspective, and if I notice something kind of outlandish, or outlandish or bad, I'll kind of point it out. But otherwise, I'm gonna try to focus on for twos either like your guys' positioning to each other, or maybe like I'll probably focus on mainly defense. To be honest with you guys, that's where
Yeah,
I found a
sure.
lot of the mistakes happen in twos
Yes.
and even ones. So.
Yeah.
Jolly, since you're the one that messaged me and everything and kind of initialized this, I'm going to watch it from your perspective.
That's good
I can
because
always
I
watch
had
it
a
again.
real bad game.
I'll watch it from Popster's perspective later on if you guys want me to check it out at another point, but I'll probably like to do that at another time.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
thanks,
Yeah, no
man.
problem.
All right, not a bad challenge. I actually like the fact that you slow down here. You're not afraid to wait, so that's always good instead of just always pushing up and pushing down, forcing yourself to go. But obviously, like if you think from this perspective, he's actually already committed to the play. So you got to think like from this perspective, try to break it down into percentages. You'll hear me say that a couple times. Is like, what's the percentage that something good will happen here? Or what's the percentage that you'll actually make the save or make the goal, right? The percentage is that, like, right now you've got 60 boost, you got a good position, there's no threat on the ball whatsoever, and this the guy Vince is already committed to the play. So even if you drive down the wall and he gets ball possession again, you can still make another challenge. Like, say you stayed on the wall and you drove again, so like say he tries to bring it back around, you can still make another challenge somewhere in here, right? So I'd say maybe try to be a little bit more patient here. Obviously, you're kind of forcing yourself into the play. You're forcing it a little too much here.
Right. So I guess what I was probably thinking here is like speeding up the play because he went up
Sure.
the wall.
Yeah.
But you're saying like maybe he wasn't so much out of the play that I
Right.
shouldn't try to speed it up that much.
Yeah, you see, he's not in the air. He's not flying towards your
Right.
back wall. So yeah, he's still technically close enough into the play. And if you kind of widen the view a little bit, this other guy is already back by the time, like, you guys would have been parallel had you even gotten a decent hit, right? But you would have wasted the 20 boost just to push out of the net, and you would have been parallel with him. Not to mention the fact that you actually have to drive this down the field and get a decent shot on net by the time this guy is able to get back. So, like, forcing the play from your corner here, you'll hear Rainey say this all the time. The corner is one of the safest places to have the ball. So no need to, like, push it out so quick, especially in ones, but even here in twos, you know, just kind of wait and see what's going to happen. Let the play develop a little bit and kind of make a better challenge here. Because, yeah, by the time, even if you got a good challenge here, this guy would have been back already. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is there something here too? Just curiously, like you said, drive for the challenge.
Yep.
Obviously, like you can, or not obviously maybe, but you can conserve the boost. But is it also just having control of the car too when you are at the challenge, which might not necessarily be true jumping off the wall?
Yes. Yeah, because the second you jump, you're committing yourself to the play, right? So every jump and every flip, you have to wait for the car to land and then turn around if you need to make a defensive save or to rotate back, right? So that time difference from you jumping, from you landing, being able to turn around and get back in a good position is all the difference in the world. So every jump you make is actually a commit to a play. Whether you touch the ball or not, you're committing to that play for that extra half second, right?
Gotcha.
So the fact that he went up the wall, you sat here and you kind of slowed down here is good. But since the ball is still here and your opponent was kind of coming down the wall here, I'd say just keep driving and maybe turn down here because your teammate had the goal covered or the net covered. So maybe just drive down, wait, and let the play develop and come out and try to see if you can make a play out forward. It'll conserve your boost, and you'll let the play develop, but you'll make it a smarter play.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sweet.
One thing to note too, this is maybe a bit nitpicky because you land backwards here, but obviously if you're in the spot here, imagine it from Popster's perspective. Imagine if he wants to clear this to the corner, it's right in his way, right? So ideally, Popster, you would be going at this ball right now. Maybe trying to be a little bit more attentive, right? You're not sure exactly what's going to happen with this. So you're just kind of waiting to see what's happening, which is good. You're also slowing down, which is good. But now you realize they both, you're both ahead of the ball, right? So you gotta. I think you can afford to get on this ball.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, by the time you actually get to it, you're wasting all this boost. One thing to note too is that just like a kickoff, you challenge this ball. By the time you jump, you're actually hitting the underside of the ball. You didn't jump early enough. That allows this guy, Rocket League Gods, let's see if he's actually a god later on, to
on TikTok.
Because you didn't jump early enough, it actually allows him to get the ball over you or pinch it, right? Whereas just like if you think about it from like a kickoff perspective, if you jump and hit the middle of the ball, you're more likely to get this pushed out in the way that you want, where you can follow it, or if anything, you both go this way, right? That way you can follow it around the corner. It'd be more favorable for you.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, sorry, but do you mind if I watch?
Not at all. I'm actually recording this, by the way, so just an FYI, just for my coaching stuff. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube later.
Okay, cool.
So you said nitpicky about like where I was on the wall whenever I missed.
Yep.
So should I hear like rotate out wide like back to net, not come back towards the ball? Is that what you were
Sure.
trying to
You
suggest?
have you have two options. It's a little bit nitpicky, right? Because you're already backwards. You're already in a bad spot
Yeah.
just from the get-go, which is unfortunate,
Yep.
right? But
Mhm.
gonna take a bad thing and turn it into like a decent thing here. Your best two options, actually, funny enough, are to just stay on the wall, go like this.
Mhm.
Because if he's pushing it out, he's gonna want to keep this on the ground. If he hits this out, like your best scenario of keeping this or Popster hitting this in the air is hitting it off the corner and hitting it on a bounce where he can follow like down the line, right?
Mhm.
So actually, his best option is to flip it and go rolling up the wall where he can follow it at this point.
Right.
It keeps it safe in your corner. Because if you bring this mid, then you bring in the other guy into the factor of the play, right? Which is
Mhm.
another uncertainty. So your best option is to just keep the play going where it's safe, bring it into the corner. So yeah, Jolly, your best option here is to literally just go like this and rotate out this way,
Okay.
like that.
Is that like just signals that I
Yep,
want
signals
nothing to
that
do
you're
with the
dropping.
ball?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stay high away from the play. Not necessarily that you have to go way high, but yeah, maybe
Mhm.
just above this line here, right where I drew it, and just kind of rotate back. Your other
Gotcha.
option is literally just turn around this way and go. Or, I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, turning around this way is very unfortunate, but I mean, your other option would be to turn around very, very quickly here and go around if you can beat him around the play.
Yeah.
That's your,
Yeah.
so yeah, your two options here would be to do this or just literally do a tight turn and do that.
Okay.
So does that help?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Because yeah, now the fact that you're driving at the play is a little suffocating.
Mhm. That challenge right there. Should I like low 50 that or like single jump 50 it
Well, the fact
rather
that
than flip?
no, I think you're it's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
The fact that you jump up to it is good. That's the difference, like I
Mhm.
said before, versus Popster, where you kind of met the ball in the middle, right? Which is good. Because if you
Mhm.
didn't jump at all, yeah, you'd be dunked every time. So I like the
Right.
fact that you committed and you jumped, right? You're hitting the ball in the middle of the ball, or hitting the middle of the ball, which
Yeah.
is good. The
Okay.
fact that if you low 50 and you don't flip, it might be better. It's hard to say. I think it would probably be smarter here. But I mean, he's also
Kinda-
flipping, so he's gonna have a lot more. He had a lot more momentum than you, so I don't know. It's hard to
Right.
say. I'd say yeah, maybe not flipping there would be better,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
it's a bit iffy there.
Okay.
Decent challenge. You kind of have to go here because that
Yeah.
he had already committed to the play. So yeah, you're good. In general, your rotation is good here. So one thing I want to mention, I'm just going to kind of do more of a generalization in terms of just general rotations, right? I'm not even going to talk about twos versus ones or anything, but in general, if you think about like the goal line being here and say the ball is just coming in from the left side or the right side, right? You kind of have two generally good options or best plays that you can make on the ball or on rotation. One is that you come in from here, or you do this and you snake around and you kind of come along parallel with the goal line. So that way
Mhm.
you can make a challenge and you know that you're pushing out and you know that the ball was in front of you the whole time. Obviously in twos, then if you're pushing out here, then you want your teammate to be covering the rest of the net that's behind you, right? So you want the guy back here or wherever to cover, behind you.
Mhm.
Your other option is, especially in ones, is to do something like this, do a J turn and kind of come like this. One thing to note is that, especially at like lower ranks or even mid ranks, is that, especially in ones, when you're doing a J turn like this, you want to face more midfield if you can, unless the ball is really in the corner like this, right? Because especially if the
Mhm.
ball is midfield, then that way at any point you can turn and cover both sides of the field. Because the second you face one direction, say you do a J turn, you face this way, well, still 50%, 60% of the net is behind you.
Right.
So especially in ones, especially at lower ranks, try to stay, if you're going to do a J turn like this, try to be a little bit more mid so that you can turn and be ready for either way. So
Quick
again,
question.
yeah.
Would it not be better to kind of turn into one of the corners of the net? That way you're kind of facing more either far post of whichever way the ball's coming from,
Yes,
as
absolutely.
opposed to just turning in the middle?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So obviously your ideal scenario would be, yeah, like you push out here and then the ball is pushing in and you would just you would match, the pace of the play, right? So that way, by the time you
Right.
challenge, you eliminate the possibility that it can go behind you. So yeah, you
Or
go.
even
That's the idea.
or even going into net, like
Yep.
if you were to like fully commit into net, like picking one of the corners. Yeah.
Like that.
Okay. Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Obviously, if you're in the back corner, the distance between this corner and this one, so like if the guy is pretty quick and he can accelerate it or just pop it over you, he can get this
Right.
spot anywhere in this vicinity is pretty far away. So obviously, depending on that distance, it may be too big. So you may want to be a little bit more towards the mid and kind of face a little bit more center. You know what I mean? There's always like little
Okay.
adjustments, right? There's always like ifs and buts,
Right.
ifs and ands, right? So
I guess
yeah.
it just kind of depends on how far the ball is towards the corner
Yep.
versus, I guess their angle.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, that's just
Okay.
a generalization. I'll probably cover that in more depth as as it goes along because I'm sure that'll come
Okay.
up in this. I guarantee it.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. So I like your challenge and the fact that you flipped. You're I'd say maybe if I can be nitpicky on the mechanics, you have 14 boost here. Your best opportunity right here is to kind of challenge, like, how do I put this? I think you flipped a little bit too far left. You're covering the pass, but I think you neglected the goal a little bit too much because the ball still has an opportunity to go underneath you or 50 out towards the back corner and kind of go down. I think if you kind of get a better 50 on this, it would have been a tad better here. And you can see
Good.
that you're kind of on top of the ball by the time you get there.
Yeah.
And so the challenge kind of goes down, and you can kind of see that happening, right? So whereas if you kind of treat it like a kickoff again, you'll have a better, I guess, clear.
Yeah, who goes here? This is what we were just talking about before we got on a call with you, because like he
Sure.
was kind of awkward. I was driving back towards net.
Yep.
How do we decipher this?
All right, let me back up. I just want to watch this from Popster's perspective. So you've got boost. Honestly, you've got 23 boost. I don't know if it would be worth it to go for this. Obviously, comms help. I'm not sure what you guys' comms are like. Generally, when I played in like RLCS and like other like actual tournaments and LANs and stuff, you try to make your comms as efficiently as possible, right? So it's like if you're trying to win, you're treating it as serious as you can. Try to call out like, okay, net 30 or center 40, right? You call out your position, or if you're ready for a pass, like, hey, pass, I got 50 or pass 50. Right, you eliminate all the other words. You just let your teammate know as much information as possible with the least amount of time. Right, because you want your teammate to be able to process his own shit too, right? You don't want to like word him up and cram his brain with like word soup, right?
One thing that helped me a lot was like learning tone too. Like instead of saying "Can you pass?" just pass.
Yep.
Like as opposed to command versus questioning. Like giving the option.
Yep. If you say pass 100 or pass I got 100, then like, okay, yes, I'm an option. I'm open. I'm ready. I'm in position. Yes. Whereas if you say, hey, can you pass? It's like, oh, well, shit. Well, can I pass? Then they start questioning. It's like, oh, shit, So, yes, I totally agree. I totally agree.
Another big thing for me was realizing like that it is an option and not like,
not a
I
requirement.
must do this thing. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So you take it with a grain of salt. You're like, pass.
Situational.
You got past 20. It's like, motherfucker, you only have 20 boost. I got 100. I got a decent play in this. Let me go, So, yes, it is totally 100% up to the guy with the ball to make the decision. So, yes. As far as this play, honestly, I'd say Popster, your best opportunity, if you're not going for this ball, is to literally just keep driving back. Like, yes, watch the play, but I would say maybe it's hard, right? Because you have little boost. It's in such a freaking awkward position, right? So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I think in an ideal scenario, you would still go off and you would literally just drive off the net. And I can kind of show this. I'm not sure how mechanical you guys are. But ideally what I would actually do is drive off the goal. Then you actually have a flip with an unlimited timer. So what you can do then is turn your car and you can actually either do a backwards wave dash to get in position, because then that way you're facing the mid and then you're facing towards the play. Or you fall off the net. It's the same as falling off the ceiling, right? If you leave a surface, like leave the wall or the ground or the ceiling without jumping, you have a timer for unlimited time to use your jump. So you can actually do that with a wave dash. You can use your flip there. So sometimes when people come across the net for a save, people will jump too early. They'll jump on the wall here instead of just falling off and then using their flip to make a save, like that.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I would say your ideal scenario here is just fuck the play. Trust that Jolly has a decent play here. Get into position as quick as you can and turn as much as you can. So you can actually use the distance here or use your falling here and turn and land. So you can actually land here facing the play.
Yep. That makes sense.
So yeah, that way you can get in position. Just fuck the play. Trust that Jolly has a decent position. If it goes in your net straight away, you're kind of fucked from beginning anyways because you're not really doing anything with this anyways. You're kind of just sitting here on the wall here, right? So it's like, all right, at some point you got to say, all right, fuck the play. I'm going to get in position. I'm just going to reset myself because, this entire time now you're way too close to the play. You're like, okay, well, what the fuck do I do now? So this entire time you could have been just dropped back to net.
Yep, that makes a ton of sense.
That would've been
and
way
I
better.
guess regardless of if his 50 goes like it did, I'm prepared. If he wins it, I'm in a good position, and if it goes in my net, it was going to happen anyway. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So ideally, I think you actually probably could have gone for this too, Popster. Had you just diagonal flip here, so that way you land. So if you literally this is literally the perfect spacing. So if you diagonal flip here, you're actually going to land with your back wheels on the ground and your front wheels on the wall. So I can tell just right now, just from experience, but this would be a great spot to diagonal flip or diagonal flip here. Cause then your front wheels will land on the wall and you'll be ready to go up quicker.
Gotcha.
So that way, then you can use your boost here and then just keep going with the play. I think you had enough to kind of at least make an attempt. That wouldn't be a bad scenario either.
Okay.
Obviously, comms help. If Popster was like, hey, I got it, then, Jolly can be like, okay, I'm going to leave it or whatever. Or even if you double commit, then it's like, okay, whatever. It happens. But Popster, you could have gone for it. But the worst thing here was just sitting on the wall.
Yeah.
I did notice you actually had an opportunity. Instead of turning down, you're in a spot here where if you actually just turn, it's hard to fucking explain the control, like turning when the camera's fucked up. But keep turning left here, right? Your left.
Yep.
And just go for a clear and just flip at it. If you stay underneath it and you hit the underside of the ball, try not to hit the ceiling. You'll get used to doing that. You can clear it out and just reset everybody, right?
Yep.
Since none of that was done, that's why you're kind of screwed. It was kind of like the worst case scenario here, right?
Right.
It wasn't necessarily the decision making. It's the position that you guys put yourselves in made the decision awful, right? The decision making process awful. So, yeah.
Okay, we're 30 seconds in.
Yeah, right. This is
I love
actually
it.
the
This is great.
slowest. This is the slowest I've ever gone on a replay. So, and this is my first 2v2 as far as the GCR stuff goes. So this is definitely interesting for me too.
Well, thank you again.
All right, like I said, I'm gonna try to prioritize Jolly just because he was the one that kind of went through this.
This is my great ceiling shot attempt.
Yeah, I mean, poor execution, whatever.
Yep.
I'd say, honestly, it's not bad to commit here, right? You know that your teammate's back. You have a pretty decent shot. You actually wait. You're in a good spot here. I'd say just flip to the right. You can get a shot or get a pass. Might be better, obviously, if you're going for a shot from this position. That's a little iffy, right? But, hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So
That's right.
So, yeah. I like the boost grab here. Yep, I like the fact that you're staying out of the play. Okay, so one of the things that Curtis told me as far as my twos gameplay is you really want to treat it more like a ones game because especially at higher ranks, even though Popster is in a decent position to pass here, this guy is basically ready for it, right? And I haven't even watched this, but I already know that even if you guys go for a pass, there's a decent chance that this guy's going to get it.
Yeah.
So especially at higher ranks, GC lobbies, GC plus, SSLs, the frequent lobbies that I played in for those guys, it's insane, right? Passing is, even in threes, becomes less, right? It's all about just who can force the other guys out of the net, who can force the best 50-50s, keeping ball possession 100% of the time. Because the second that you give away this ball possession, you force yourself. Popster has not only committed off the play by jumping, he's giving away ball possession. Now you actually have to meet it before they do, otherwise you guys are screwed.
Right.
And the chance that Jolly, in addition, not only gets the ball, but also gets a decent shot on by the time this guy gets back. You know, you just think about all the variables. The chances, I'm saying a lot of ifs and ands, like the chances of that all happening, coming together in one play is very slim.
Yeah,
Especially
I think we've been trying to avoid this more. Like I think right here I'm starting to turn back because I see the balls coming down the wall. I was like, all right, this is over.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yep. I would have actually preferred if you got behind him. So I'm going to kind of go along with what Coach Curtis told me. Try to treat it like a ones game. So instead of being center and ready for a play, be kind of behind him, right? So as he's moving up, just kind of position back here. Because then, yeah, you can kind of come in, you can come center, or you can just turn back and make, try to make another play. You can kind of come back and rotate back for another save, whatever. But yeah, just let your teammate go. The second you come in for this, a potential pass or a potential whatever, the second you stay mid, you're kind of like, even Popster is then like, oh, well, should I pass it here, and whereas if you just treat it like a ones game, you just collect your pads mid here, or you get the back boost, then you just let him do his thing, let the play develop, because yeah, as it drops, now he's still pushing up. You can still push up along the play. You can be midfield here. Now imagine if you were midfield here, like I literally just said, without even seeing the play develop. Now you have a free shot. Just because you let the play develop in a little differently, right? Just because of that positioning. So yeah, if you played it more like a ones game there, that would have been a potential goal. I'm saying a lot of ifs and ands, but mine, I think, is a little smarter because, yeah, you let Popster do his thing, and your only difference now is you've positioned a little differently. So now you would have had a decent shot on net had you been behind him a little bit more.
Okay.
Because, yeah, now that guy could have demoed you, and that could have been a potential goal on you guys. I like the wave dash. Pretty decent. Nice. Covering the net. I like it. There you go. I like you got behind it, got for the 50. That's smart. Yeah, if you're going to stay on the play, you might want to call it because I knew already that Popster was going to kind of come in and challenge you. Be like, oh, shit, now he's off the play.
Yeah.
Popster, you also have to realize in the same vein that I just said kind of let the play develop, you have to let your teammate have his space. If you see that he's even remotely close to this, even though it's behind him, just let him kind of have his space.
Yep, sure.
Because you realize he's still there. He's still in the vicinity. The other guy is still there in the vicinity. They might still 50-50 this. You don't know what's going to happen. So now the fact that you guys are stacked on top of each other, you know what I mean? This positioning. Yeah. Now all this guy has to do is get it over both you guys with one touch, and he's got a free goal.
So assuming like no comms, I mean, obviously, like if Pop was like, yeah, I got this, I could keep driving.
Yep.
Should I like stay with that? Because I mean, it's literally like 2 inches away, and I have to assume like. Yeah, okay.
Yep. If your question is should I stay with it, 99% of the time is yes.
Okay.
Like if you can keep on the ball without making without stealing it from your teammate, right? Because you were the initial one to initiate the play, right? If you have the opportunity to stay on it, then yes. Because in that scenario, like even conversely, like if you let Popster go for this, the fact that you have 12 boost and that you're not able to turn around and make a save right away, say Popster gets beat, right? So say you even let him have it, you call it off and you rotate back. Well, then you don't, if you don't know if he's going to get beat, even if he gets 50'd, whatever, you're still in a bad position to rotate back. So by the time he challenges, you ideally want to be behind him and ready by the time he challenges. So yes, by all accounts, you should stay on this ball.
Okay.
Because then, yes, if Popster was back, I'm obviously saying ifs and ands here. If Popster, if you respected that, now look, you also have a ball. Now this is twice in 5 seconds that you guys both each have had that same opportunity happen. Where if you guys just respect each other just a little bit, position a little bit behind him, like I said, now that's happened once each to both of you. I like your patience here. Not bad to jump for this either. I like the fact that you didn't flip. You're staying with it. You're doing good there. Yep, pick up mids. Pick up mids, that's fine. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I'd say your positioning could probably be a little bit more behind him here, if anything. I'd say maybe just slightly, right? I'd say instead of being literally center here, I'd say maybe on this like little grommet thing here where this shit is.
Okay.
Just
So it
because.
sounds like you prefer shadow offense.
Yes, 100%. And I'll go into that when it comes up later because we haven't really gone over
Okay.
a whole lot of defense, and I'll kind of show you why.
Right.
So, yeah, just
So
for the
am I
fact.
trying to like follow his line?
Yes.
Kind of.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, like I said, if you guys, and I've said this already on offense now, on the fact of you being behind your teammate a little bit more, the fact that you're off to the side. Now look, you have to cross it, and now your angle is very tough. You have to come across and hit it from the side, right? So whereas if you were behind him, you have a more straightaway. Now that's the third time that's happened. Imagine, like I said, if you were literally just sitting right here, you could have just came in straight and maybe had a shot if you shot it on the right side. Now that's 3 times. If you just position just a little bit more behind each other, that's 3 times now. So.
So can we go back to that? This is really interesting for me. So like that makes sense. If let's say we're more behind each other, at least in this particular scenario, is one of the benefits here that like if the ball comes back, say behind me, he can make a play. Obviously, that's what happened. If it goes mid, there's a clear path as well. And if it goes far right, well, he's probably just rotating with everyone else, like racing to the ball, or he can go back to net or whatever.
Absolutely.
So, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Your
Whereas
first
it's
thing,
awkward to take a left.
I'll put it this way, right? So if your position here, let me pull out the marker. So say the ball is coming, just generally speaking, on the left side, right? And your teammate, Popster is pushing out on the left side. If you position on the same side of the field, you're not only covering if Popster gets beat, right? That way, the ball comes this way or wherever, right? You can actually cover, in this general area. You're also covering if Popster gets it over him, center for a pass or a rebound or whatever, right? You're covering those 2 options. Whereas if you're coming in, the ball's coming in this way. If you're covering across, the only option you're covering is if he gets it over or if it gets cleared out to you, right? Which is effectively kind of like one of the same play, right? If the play develops to the right side. Whereas it's more likely that the play is either that he's going to be beat and you have to kind of cover for him, or the fact that you're just staying closer to the play that you can kind of, come in, swoop in mid, or come in this way. You know what I mean? You're covering more options here just by option coverage, as like Rainey and Luke say. Your option coverage here being closer to the play is much greater than just the only 2 options of it being cleared across, right?
Okay.
So you can see the two options here versus the 4 here. So just based off of, again, the percentages, it just makes more sense statistically. I like the fake challenge. That was really good. One thing to note here is, I don't know. It's obviously more of an experience thing, but I would know to just flick this right away. It's hard for me to explain in the exact terms, right? But that this guy is going to be coming at you. You basically got to just keep turning left and just beat him. If you get another touch over him or a flick or anything, even if you don't score, it's just better because now the fact that you go for a 50, obviously, they may not have scored off of it. I can see that I'm cheating in the timeline. I don't always watch the timeline. But the fact that, dude, this almost went in your net.
Right. I think I probably want to do what you're saying. I think I probably just got a little too heavy of a touch on my my turn.
Which happens, right? I'm nitpicking. The mechanics I'm not so much worried about, but I just wanted to point it out just because I noticed it. Because instinctively, I know like, oh shit, you got to flick here, bro. Instinctively, I'm just like, oh shit. So
I know.
So yeah. All right. Somebody have a question?
Oh no, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit iffy, right? Because obviously you hear this guy flipping, he just landed. He's probably going to go for a bump or something. It's not a bad idea to just single jump with this.
This was one specific scenario I really did have a question about because like
my
teammate was on the right and I know that guy was behind me, so I tried to jump quickly, but like this guy's already back for any kind of power shot I could possibly put on net. Of course, I don't really hit a power shot.
Yeah.
So like, what would you do right here to like keep control of the play?
Single jump with the ball. Pop it up right here, but don't flip because it forces you away from the demo and you don't get rid of the ball. The single jump, if anything, I'll also allow you to double jump in that split second. If you see the guy, so let me just kind of break this down, your options. Actually, yeah, I think it'd be better if I go from your perspective here. So at this point, single jump with it. You see that he's obviously going to come for you. So single jump and avoid the demo is number one.
Mm-hmm.
Then at this point, if you single jump and hold it, then you can actually use your double jump if you see that the guy is staying, like say he's trying to trip you up, right? And he's trying to cover your circle, right? And he's, he's going to, you're going to land on him.
Mm-hmm.
Then double jump and keep going with the ball. Just get another touch, get an air dribble, but not trying to force the air dribble up, but trying to force it forward and land with a 50-50 would be the ideal, like, okay, I'm 5 head. I know exactly what's going to happen. Like, that would be the ideal scenario because obviously, yeah, you only have 26 boost, but just judging from the options, yeah, number 1 is to just single jump, avoid the demo. Option 2 is, okay, if he's there, then double jump and stay in the air and only use your boost to propel the ball forward and just try to land and catch it again and go for a 50-50. If you see this guy peel off, then just catch it anyways and just keep dribbling.
Gotcha.
Do you see how my thought process works there?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas, again, I'm just going to reiterate, every time you flip, you commit so hard to a play.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
and you put yourself out of position. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, again, I think a scenario where you're expecting your positioning is telling me you're expecting this ball to go mid, right? But again, you got to play it like a ones game. Popster has to play it like a ones game. You being mid is also like, okay, if he sees you there, he's also going to think, oh shit, okay, do I have the best play or does he have the best play? Then, okay, is the passing play actually the best play, right? You're throwing all these questions into it. Obviously, you guys are already down by 1, so, you may want to kind of integrate plays in here and there. But especially if you guys are up, then screw the passing plays. You guys are up. Your first priority is not to score. It's to not get scored on, no matter what. That's the number 1 rule. Or number 1 goal, I should say.
That's a good perspective.
Yes, and that's what Coach Curtis drilled into me. He goes, dude, especially if you're up or even, then your number 1 goal, no matter what, is to not get scored on. It's not to score.
Okay, so here, should I be like a bit behind him?
Yep,
like,
so let me see.
Okay.
Jolly, just kind of, I'm going to back up a little bit here. So, yeah, that's whatever. You grab the mid. I'd say, yep, your flip here is good. Like, you hold on to the boost. You flip into it. I'd say ideally, if you want to keep up your pace and everything, pick up, you flip into it, land on this boost pad. You could drive, you could kind of stay supersonic if you want, or, kind of keep up your speed. But I'd say maybe path a little bit more behind him, like how we talked, kind of stay like right here or right here, a little bit more behind him and ready to turn and up the wall if you need to, or ready to turn and challenge straight or across the field. You're covering more options closer to the play. Whereas now, again, look how far away you are. You're not anywhere. You're not making a play on this. I mean, again, if Popster gets beat and gets to the corner, now you have to rush your ass back to make a save. So this is just the percentage chance of you actually making a play from the situation is very slim. Okay. And again, he gets demoed, so now you have to wait for the play to develop anyways.
Right.
And now, even again, you're in the same exact position as what I said anyways.
Except backwards.
Except backwards, right. Well, shadowing here is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying it kind of came to that position anyways. It's just not how you wanted it, right? It's not how you initiated it. So now you're like, oh shit, now I got to cover. Whereas before you could have been like, oh, well, I can challenge this ball or I can fake challenge. If you were in this spot to begin with, once he got demoed, you can fake challenge the ball. You have boost, he's going to be back. So you can fake challenge and turn again. You can actually challenge if you think it's good. Your options are a little better, right? You're a little bit more ready for the play just because you were closer to begin with. But now,
do you think it would?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, do you think it would have been better to just actually challenge there instead of turning? Especially how close he was.
Well, the thing is, the ball's rolling, so the second he pops it up, it's kind of like, okay, well, at any point, this guy can double jump and just get it over you, or over Jolly. So it's a bit hard to say, right? Obviously, yeah, you're like, okay, Vince doesn't go, but if he sees you going more, then he could go, right? Yeah. So it's a lot of ifs and ands. But I'd say fake challenging here is fine. I'd say doing exactly what you did is fine, because now it forces the ball, and now Vince is not on the ball anymore. So I'd say this is perfectly fine. Actually, exactly how it developed.
Okay, great.
One thing to note here, again, I'm gonna nitpick about the positioning. You're rotating in the mid like this. By the time you turn, I'm gonna bet that you kind of face this way. Sorry guys, I'm not fucking Picasso. I don't have the perfect drawing skills here, but you get the point.
Great. It's
You're
great.
rotating mid here, right? So now again, even if you turn here, or like say you're on the goal, or whatever, roughly right here. Again, half the goal is here, behind you. So if I can nitpick, I'd say yeah, maybe pick this boost pad, pick this boost pad, pick this boost pad, and kind of just do zigzags, or just pick this boost pad, or just pick this one, and go parallel with the goal, right? That way you can position this way. Then you can push up. Then you can push up. You'll have more info. You'll stay with the net in front of you. This play is still developing into the corner. So by the time, I bet if you picked up this boost pad, and just did like a little one of these, I bet you still would have had enough time to challenge if you needed to.
Right.
So I'm going to nitpick. Try not to go down the mid, because then, yeah, if this ball goes quick, then you either have to challenge quick, or you have to literally, my fucking drawings. You literally are in mid, right? So you either challenge quick and turn, or then he has the opportunity to get it behind you at any point, right?
Right.
So I'd say try to avoid that scenario where you're driving down the midfield like this.
So, like, I guess maybe the lesson here is anytime you have time, take more time on defense and
Yes.
get more pads.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You can zigzag. You can kind of just, get in the position a little bit better, right? Bit of a mechanical mistake or bad read. It's whatever. I'm not gonna dock you points for that too hard. I will say I was hoping that a scenario would kind of come up a little bit more, so I can explain my defensive positioning a little bit better. So I will try to point that out. I'm hoping something will come up like that. Otherwise, I'll go over one of my replays and I'll point something out that I really want to talk about as far as defense goes.
I don't know how much time you have, but would you be willing to do a 1-3 play after this?
To be honest with you, probably not. I have a lot more time. I had 4 coaching sessions scheduled today, so I'm kind of burnt out. To be honest, if I did another one tonight, that's kind of my limit.
I totally get it.
I think maybe tomorrow or this weekend for sure. I'm available. I'm not doing anything.
All right, man, for sure. Trust me, I'm not stressing about it.
Yeah. I will say I do find it a lot easier for me to do ones, because obviously there's a lot less, I can just focus on you and your decision making, right? So
right.
I haven't done a whole lot of 2s or 3s gameplay, so especially in the GCR. So this is a little bit newer to me as well. So hopefully everything I'm saying makes a lot of sense here.
It makes a ton of sense.
Oh yeah,
appreciate it.
This is what we needed.
Did I go back too far? Go ahead too far? Oh yeah, right here. So I did notice one thing. So yeah, you steal their boost, which is good. I'd say, if anything, maybe rotate down the field a little bit more. So Jolly, once you take their boost and you're like this, maybe rotate down the center field here, because at this point you don't know who's gonna hit the ball. If Vince is gonna hit it, or Rocket League God is gonna hit it center, right? It also gets you away from your teammate. You want to avoid those scenarios, like if you watched Luke's video on like option coverage, where Popster's range is say here, and then your range is here. You want to avoid those scenarios where they overlap. And obviously then a scenario where if Rocket League Gods just hits it over you, it goes over both of you guys. So
right.
You want to kind of avoid that. So I'd say similarly, you just want to be out of the play here, because you grab that boost, you're in a perfect opportunity. If you go down the line now, you would see that Popster is going to be on the ball. And Popster almost freaking hit you, actually. And you guys are right on top of each other now. So that was just one thing that I noticed right here. Popster almost booted you right in the booty, and right there, and right there too. Not once, but twice. And now you're in an awkward spot. And even while he tries to drop back, now you guys are still somewhat close to each other, as this guy is potentially popping it over you. So you guys are like, oh shit, let's like reset. Popster's like, let me get in a good position. You're just like, okay, well now I'm going to try to make the best thing I can here. Whereas if you just kind of dropped back, you would have seen that Popster was on the ball. Then you could kind of turn around when necessary and kind of cover him as second man. I think that would have just been way cleaner. You know what I mean? It would have avoided you guys being so close to each other. So I'm going to watch that just over once again. You can kind of see how that plays out. More nitpicky on the mechanical side. Again, if you know that that is going to bounce up or even go to the wall here, not a bad thing to actually double jump up and try to hit it up the wall. So like what ideally in like a high level lobby is I would jump up, double jump, and hit the very underside of the ball. So that way you land with your wheels. Car.
Picasso is here after all.
Yeah, so you land with your wheels on the wall, then you can actually pop it out and go for a shot. Or a follow-up or an air drag, whatever, right? You got 100 boost. So ideally you'd pop it up, land underneath the wall, or underneath the ball, land on the wall, and then be able to follow it up again. Because, you're hitting it out. Again, this is the same situation as like the dribble in my head.
Would you say that's better than rolling it up the wall, or that's just if that's your first touch?
I don't know. I'd say actually I would actually say rolling it up the wall is not the best option here because is Vince he's kind of facing the play. You want to avoid a scenario where you just give it to him, right? There's a world, there's an alternate universe, like Marvel timeline type shit where Vince is ready on the wall and you just roll it up there and he just dunks you or just gets a shot, right? So I would say maybe try to avoid that if Vince or your opponent is in the area. Try to avoid that unless you know for 100% that you can beat him to it. Whereas the bounce here and you follow it up with a pinch or a double tap, you bump it up again, you're more likely to be the one to follow it up then at that point.
All right.
So, you basically just have to do the best you can here. Again, more of a mechanical thing. You should be actually flipping to the right here. Pushing the ball and see how you flip left and the ball goes right. You should be flipping the other way here.
I'm sure I spazzed and freaked out right there.
Yep. That's all right. Again, like I said, I'm pointing it out. I'm not going to really dock you a whole lot of mechanical points, but I do want to point it out when it happens. There you go. So now you're positioned more like a ones team. I think you perhaps turn back a little bit too quick. Actually, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think you maybe do turn a little too quick towards the play. Because at this point you still don't know what's going to happen if Rocket League Gods is actually like if this was me, dude, I'd be getting a shot in your net. You know what I mean? So like I'd be beating Popster to this and I'd be taking it up in the air and air dragging it toward your net. You know what I mean? So like you're in a good spot here. Just keep going. Just keep driving back and then see what's going to happen. Not to say that I'd say maybe if you're going to drop back, kind of slow down in this area, see where it's going to go, and then turn around. Because, as you turn up, it's, I think, just maybe a second too early, if anything. But I will say it's better because you're positioned behind him. Now you can follow up. Whereas before, if you were on the sides, you wouldn't be able to follow this as much. Ooh, nice attempt. Recovery, maybe 5 out of 10. I actually like your contact here, to be honest with you. Not bad. And your aerial is not bad here. Maybe just kind of take notice that your wheels are already facing the net. You don't have to do anything here. You can just... I like the fact that you turn and you did try to it looked like you tried to land facing down towards the ground there, which is good. But obviously execution, not so much.
Yeah. I am trying.
Yep. Ooh. Okay, so I think this is probably the first bigger contentious point here. Because obviously at this point you're behind him. I think your better option is to just let Popster go for it. Because at this point now, it's not like, your option, Jolly, of challenging this is when, your better option of challenging this is when they're on the ground, right? When they're about to flick him, where you can kind of come in and steal it, where you basically have a better guaranteed save because they don't have you in their vision, right? If you're just trying to, if I'm the guy, all you have to worry about is, all they have to worry about is Popster. Whereas if you just come in and steal it, that's your best option of challenging this. But now the fact that this dude is taking it across the net, just drop back, just pick up pads, right? Do whatever you need to do. Just drop back, position again behind him, be ready for a shot, be ready to push up as well. But again, you saw Popster back there too. So like, it's not like he's in the net, right? He's He's waiting. He's shadowing. He's seeing what's going to happen. He's in a perfect position. Get behind him and let him make the first move. If he was in net, then I'd say push out on this, right? But you guys, you didn't see him pushing the net. Now you guys, I bet, are really close to each other again. And I bet he wanted to probably challenge that if possible, or was at least looking to, right? So again, you guys are in the same spot again where you're really close to each other. Your option coverage is maybe not overlapping, but you guys are really interleaving here. So that way, if they get a clean 50 or a bump over you, or an air, they take it over you, they take it over both of you really easily.
Right.
Whereas if you just dropped back right away, again, play it like a ones game. You're like, okay, Popster has it. I'm gonna pick up pads. I'm gonna be defensive minded for just a minute. I'm gonna position a little bit better. That way, honestly, if Popster didn't have a challenge there, if he caused that 50-50, then you could kind of come in and turn and, again, get a better shot on net here, right? Nice follow.
Thank you.
I like the boost to the ground. That was nice. I like the single jump. That was good, either to avoid a bump or to make him go. Yeah, good acceleration there. I'd say maybe the flip isn't necessary, but it's good that you followed it so quickly. And you hit it with the front of your car. Yeah, good execution there. Decent kickoff.
Oh, there's one coming up that's not so decent.
Okay, got it. I'm guessing it results in a goal, maybe? Question mark. Okay, so yeah. I think similarly to before, it's not as egregious because there's more distance between you guys. But you remember the very first time I said, okay, well, what if Popster wants to take this to the corner? Look where you are. So again, your options are GTFO, stay on the wall, just fuck the play, get out, or literally go up, turn, go midfield, and drop back this way. Either way, get the fuck out. Let him go.
Yeah.
That's happened a couple times now. It's not as bad here because there's obviously distance and whatnot, but it's the same exact thing. Because now Popster's like, oh, well, now Jolly's in there. I can't exactly commit when I want to now, and I got to kind of wait and see what the play's going to do. Let my teammate drop back, etc. Right? So it's, yeah. A couple times you guys are kind of lingering too long. You're like, okay, I can get the boost, which is fine. So yeah, again, even Jolly right here when you're turning towards the play, obviously there's no threat, but I'm going to nitpick on the turn. Just drive back into net or on the goal line at least. Go here, do a drift turn, and position yourself right here. That way you can come out. You can actually make a play if you need to, but at least you'll be ready and you'll be sitting here right here. Whereas if you're here, now they can still shoot, and you still have to turn back to kind of make a save, right? Somewhat, or so I'd say don't be afraid to kind of go back a little farther in the net there. But either way, just try to drop back a little quicker. Be a little bit more aggressive on the defense, on the drop back there. Ooh, okay. So let's see here. I just kind of want to see how the whole play developed here. So yeah, that's when they shot it out. Popster's taking it out. They had the challenge, and you have a good opportunity. You actually hit it with the front corner of your car, which is perfect. Probably what I would have done. Not bad. Ideally, obviously, like, okay, you probably could have caught it, or just literally let this go across the net. Look at all this open space. Then you can dribble it.
Yeah, I think what I saw here is that no one was quite back yet, and if I could get a hard enough shot on target, I might be able to snipe one in.
Yep, just like you, I would have done the same exact thing here. So, not necessarily the bad, I would do the same exact thing as you there. Yeah, Popster, I'd say maybe you're a little too far. Actually, your positioning is maybe a little bit too far left here, but it's not bad. Yeah, I like how you correct. You're in a good spot here.
You say you would have done the same exact thing, but you would have banged it top right.
I think I do. I probably would have put a better shot on in terms of it actually being a shot on net, or it probably honestly would have been above the net, if I'm being honest with you. I try to tend in that position to shoot it high, if anything more than anything else, because no matter if I get it straight, if it's low to
Gives
the ground,
them a more awkward bounce,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep. If you give it straight to them, they're more likely to make a save. So at that point, just focus on hitting it high more than anything else, make it more awkward for them. So yes.
That makes sense.
So yeah, Popster, I like your positioning, and you can kind of see that work out, right? Again, instead of being across like how you guys were before, he's positioned on the same side of the field and ready to go when his time is necessary. So nicely done. I like the turn there. The little half turn is actually really good because it forces them, makes them go, right? So go to the corner. That's good. Now Jolly can go. Actually, overall, I like the spacing, and I like the shit that's going on. Popster grabs that. He's behind you. Yeah, not bad. Maybe, yeah, not bad at all. But you can see, I hope that as I pointed that last play out or two, that you guys are kind of a little bit more behind each other, and you guys are staying more on the same side of the field. You can see how you guys can follow up a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I like your turn. You're being patient. That's a really good idea. And turn back here. You let Popster go. Unfortunately, he doesn't get anything, so you got to kind of wait. Okay, so perfect timing. So I'm going to talk about this for a bit here. So this is the number one thing with 1v1s, especially, and even in 2s, just because 2s there's a lot of 1s. You got to think at all times. Oh, this is actually spicy. Okay, so this is probably the best example so far. This in my coaching sessions today. Think of a line between the ball and the goal at all times, and this makes it really easy because it's matching the half court line here. But as you're challenging, like I said before, remember what I mentioned, you know, as you're dropping back and you're shadowing, you have a couple options. You can either turn and go when you think is necessary, or you drop back and make a goal line save, preferably to your other corner. Either way, you try not to cross this line at all.
Okay.
I'm staying silent because I want to make it obvious here. This is me being like, okay, watch.
So if I'm ever gonna go in this scenario, you said I had two options.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like I would have to cross the midpoint line, right?
Yes. And I'm not saying literally the midfield line. I'm saying from a line to the ball. You can see how you're actually on the other side. By the time you challenge the ball here, look how far behind the... Look how far ahead of the play you're driving. Now look at where all the space is behind you. You crossed that line at the wrong time.
Yeah, let's say I do go for this challenge and it's like the right time. When would you say I should go?
Okay, so let's look at it from...
So I fuck this up all the time in ones as well. Yep. So I'm glad this.
So right now is a good time. Obviously, I'm watching it from his perspective, but they don't have a lot of control. So you kind of have to do it early when they don't have control. You're kind of in an awkward spot because obviously there's the distance there. You can't exactly magically pop in his face, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you would have to still challenge right now. He still doesn't have quite control. You would still have to get it when he's basically starting the play. You would have had to have turned around and basically either challenged by the time you got this boost pad or got at this point. Even right here is still a decent time to challenge, but it's too late by the time the play develops because, yeah, by that time he's already got ball control and you're actually already, I'll say this, that you're pushing up. Not only are you pushing up towards the play this way out from the net, you're also pushing up early this way to meet the ball, right? So you're doing both things at once, which takes you out of the play quicker or takes you out from the net quicker, right? And allows him to actually get more opportunity to score in any of this area. Whereas if you challenge early, you know, you close the distance, then, you know, if you stay, you have a better chance for a 50-50 on the ground, or your better option is just pick up this boost pad, and literally just chill here. That way, you know the whole net is in front of you. Then, yeah, it's then as much as I hate to say it, it's literally just try to guess what he's going to do, right? If he's got it on top of you, if they've been doing flicks, it more applies to ones, right? If you kind of can feel your opponents out, if you think he's going to flick it, then yes, go for a jump save. If you think he's going to fake, go for a 50-50, whatever, right? You have to kind of make a decision, right? But at this point, you're better off either, challenging early, like right now, or just staying back in net and making a goal line save. And making a goal line save here, sorry, I'm going to finish this off and then I'll let you go. So making the goal line save will also allow the ball to come to you, right? So the distance here in the time here that it takes from him to get the ball in the net is greater because you don't commit. You know what I mean? You keep that distance here versus right here. It's half because you committed. So as much as I hate to say it, your best option here is probably just chill right here. Obviously, don't stop, but your best option is probably right there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
And as far as the crossing the line, it more applies in ones because now, if you think about it, I'm going to kind of throw a hypothetical, right? So say the ball is here, right? You got the ball there, and you cross that line, but they keep dribbling it. Now your car is facing this way. Now the whole net is behind you. So I'm going to exaggerate it, obviously, in this example, but I see a lot of people do this in ones. They'll cross that line where now, in order to make a save, they have to literally drive around, turn around, and make another goal line save. So that's what you want to avoid. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, that's the angle
All right.
is going.
All right. What was somebody's comment on that or question?
Oh, I was just going to say, to be fair, that was a pretty well-placed flick, too.
Yes, it was, obviously. The execution on this guy, yeah, it's hard to save. Top 90, yeah. Woo! Dominus, maybe. All right. Yep, got the boost. It's good. I don't mind you challenging early. That's good. And you're still on it. Good. And you got the fuck out of there. Good. Again, see how you just... you didn't stay in the play. You didn't hover in the corner. You immediately drop back and you can still go. That little bit of difference, even though you didn't have to drop back to net here, the fact that you were like, all right, fuck this, I'm out, Popster's got it. That little bit of difference, you can see that I've pointed out 3 times when you guys have just stood on the corner or stood on the wall. You can see now how effectively that plays out. At the worst case scenario, when Popster doesn't hit it, you can still be there.
Right.
So, pointing out the good example. Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, obviously you heard the guy jump. I'd say ideally, instead of hitting this forward, it's hard to ingrain into people, but you don't need forward progression. Your best idea here is to jump on top of the ball, hit it down, get a roller up the corner, right? Something that you want to follow up, because if you hit it forward, now look, you're going into the net, you're giving away the ball. You know that this guy's challenging you. You don't know if he's got a decent 50. You're basically asking to get dunked here if this guy's any decent. So the fact that Popster is able to stay on this ball is insane. But again, the chance of that happening is like 2%, and you guys hit the fucking lottery. So does that make sense, though? Because you literally just are trying to get forward progression. You're trying to get it to Popster, but you got to worry about not getting dunked here. This guy is challenging you. The better option is just keep the ball. You can always pass it out, and you can always make another play later. But the fact that you get rid of the ball, if this guy was challenging you any decently here, you'd be dunked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I gotta say your turning mechanics are a little bit better on this side Popster. If you applied that on this corner here before, you could have turned around and got it on that play. You did really well. You did really well here. So you were backwards on this wall and you're going to challenge the ball. You fucked it, missed it. That's all. That's good. That happens. You turned around and still were able to stay forwards. I'll watch it again from your perspective. If you apply that, see how you're backwards, you're going to go for the ball. You single jump. You're like, all right, fuck it. I missed it, whatever. Look, you turned. You did it. Nice job. Do that over here.
We're talking about,
from the beginning. Yeah, go forwards, go off the corner. Yeah, go off there, turn around in the air, land. Yeah. That's what I meant.
I blacked out. You brought it up like a therapist, and it's all coming back to me.
So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So let me watch it from your perspective here. Yeah, your recovery there was good. Actually, you know what? Let's see. Actually, you know what? A 5-head play here would be, because you know that there's a guy ahead of you, Popster, is to just brake and just jump right here and actually get on top of the ball. So that way, by the time you jump super early, so you jump on top of it, then just do like a diagonal backflip here. So that way, you can kind of get it, or just straight backflip so it goes up the wall. But you're passing it back to your teammate, especially as a roller. The important thing here is to jump. I can't fucking do it here. Is to jump early, so that way you stay on top of the ball and you get a roller. Because then that way, Jolly, you just be like, all right, no, you fucking take it. I don't want it.
Right.
So that way he's ready. So if you get a roller here, he can turn up the wall and go, or get a roller on the ground. That way he can take it.
Yeah. That makes
Not
sense.
sure what the thought process was there, but that's pretty funny.
Okay. I think my thought process was I thought maybe we were having an attacker.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe 3-head. I think that's
I
what
like
I was
your
thinking.
catch. I like your catch here. You're patient. Randy would approve that too. Okay, so I cover this with like plats and lower rank players as far as dribbling stuff goes. But one of the things I talk about is getting comfortable with picking the ball up and flicking it. Because, yeah, here, if you get it right, you can actually not necessarily, like, flick it for height, right, and flick it for power, but just to maneuver the ball. I'm not even saying, like, getting it along the width of your car, but more or less just pushing it to the right side.
Gotcha.
Obviously, you scored here, but I think it could have been cleaner. The execution, I think you can see, was a little sloppy. Like, you only really got two touches there. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably could have been a little bit better. And actually, you know what? Let me... Okay, so from that guy's perspective, from Vince's perspective, you can see how the line from here to the net, roughly. He's on this side of the field. He should basically be dropping back straight here and making a save like this. But because he came up and was like this, well, now you can literally, he didn't cross the line, but now he's here. The whole net is on the side that is open. So he basically forced himself to not really like cross the line here, but he crossed the line or enough. So if he was doing this and rotated, he would have had a much higher chance of saving this. The worst thing that he could have done is just go like this and drive past, because then he has to turn back around and make another save.
Mm-hmm.
So let's watch that again. If I can get my camera going. There we go. But you can see that. See how he's so close. Now look at how far the goal is. It's all behind him now. And even if he was driving, that's why I said if you just push this a little bit more right, that would have been perfect execution, because this backside is behind him. And the only reason I say that is because of his positioning. The only reason that this was getting behind him is because he forced himself to be too close to you by trying to challenge early. But he did the same thing that you guys did earlier. Challenging early is, he did it at the wrong time. So now he basically gave himself up. He obviously backflipped, but do you see the idea there that like he was at that line, so now he basically opened the half of the net for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So there you go. All right. Is this the bad kickoff?
This is the one. I tried to do a speed flip. Did a side flip.
I see. Ooh. Yeah. Rough. I'm not gonna say a whole lot about that. That's whatever. Yeah, it sucks. But hey, you're trying to learn some new shit. You're trying to do it in the game. I respect it.
Right.
You're not gonna get it every time, but if you don't do it, you're never gonna get it. So that's whatever.
Right.
Oh yeah, even more so to the point. You guys are pretty much behind each other, but again, you're on the same side of the ball, so you're able to follow up. I don't mind you going for this. You guys are down. Now you're at 30 seconds. You can kind of be more aggressive. I love the boost steal here. Yep, there you go. You're like, oh shit. I want to say this is still a little bit bad. The wave dash is totally unnecessary here. It actually commits your car to going up the wall. And again, you can see this is the 4th time now that I've said it, that one person has tried to take the ball and progress the play as the other guy, your teammate, is in front of you. So maybe try to watch for that, you guys. This is, like I said, this is the 4th time I've maybe pointed this out. I like the boost steal, but obviously the better option is to literally just get the fuck out on the wall. Or the best option is obviously just cut back this way. So, yeah, maybe watch out for that. And this is maybe more of a nitpicky thing now that the ball is on top of you. But if you notice, like, since the ball is on top of you, if you try to stay in the play, you don't know what the fuck's going on, right? The ball is in the air. You only know about the two guys in the air. You're watching Popster. You're like, okay, is he going to get another hit? Is Vince going to get a clear? The best option here is if you just got the fuck out like you should have done earlier. You actually would have been stealing his boost. Go down the line as Popster takes it up. You could have gone straight here. Then if Popster gets a shot here or, you know, whatever, if the ball goes mid, you can always turn back and go, right? But you have more info from back here than you do under here under the ball. So just generally speaking, obviously you guys are down for 30 seconds, so I'm not saying specifically for this play, but I think maybe going back here, this a little bit more would have been better because now that you're under the play, you have a lot less field of view, right? You only have this much field of view from underneath it. So if you guys tend to stay away from underneath the ball like that in that scenario, you know, obviously the best scenario is that, okay, yeah, if both of you guys whiff it and you're able to follow up and hit the ball again, get a shot on net or whatever, that's the best scenario, but that's only if you aerial up to it or if it falls down to you, but you don't know what's going to go happen. So yeah, I'd say the best option, just kind of do this and then see what's going to happen there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. So yeah, and you can see you actually back up, but now by the time if you just did it earlier, you would have been in a better spot to maybe follow this ball right now. Now you have no momentum because you stayed in the play too long. That's a couple times now that's happened. Yeah, I don't mind you staying with this. I think this is a scenario again. At this point now, you can get the fuck out again. Just immediately. Just be like, all right, I don't have a whole lot here. If he challenges his ball and he stays on the corner, then yeah, you know, you can potentially go up for another challenge. But ideally, again, Popster has no idea when to go because you're still out there. He doesn't know if you're going to challenge at any point. The boost still is fine. You know, maybe if you wanted to absolutely steal the boost, do that. Or
I think you were at 62, so grabbing like 3 or 4 pads would put you at full anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't about being 100. It's
the ideal
like
scenario. Yeah, the ideal scenario is literally once he goes up the wall, just bail out, do one of these.
Okay.
Get the fuck out, because now Popster, you're literally forcing your teammate. Because now, look, from his perspective, yeah, he doesn't know when to challenge. He's gonna wait. He doesn't know if you're gonna go up the wall for during the duration of this play. He's gonna wait because you're still pushed up. He can't go. Nice. So yeah, I'd say if you just got out, then you could kind of support him as he pushes out. It would have been just a little bit better here. Popster, one of the things, like, again, this is more a mechanical thing, right, of just knowing what the fuck's gonna happen, is that if this pinch happens, you have to be, I guess, at a higher level, like a GC or a pro, they would basically be able to jump up and hit this with the front left port of their car and basically be able to aim it and shoot it all the way on net from here. And I tell you, I would do the same thing. If you watch any of my games on my YouTube, I'm pretty confident in my own long shots and stuff like this from this exact position of being able to hit it underneath right here from this corner side of the car and being able to just put a shot on net from here. So one of the things that you can do to help with that is to jump and tilt your car back sooner, right? So kind of like what we mentioned with the challenges and stuff like that, you know, meeting the ball a little sooner. If you get in the habit of just jumping and tilting your car back, it'll like lean your car upwards, you know what I mean? So that way you can kind of come up underneath it because, yeah, again, similarly to like the 50-50s like we were talking in the corners, you're meeting on the underside of the ball, which is good, but you're hitting the top of the car.
Yeah,
rather than the front. So it's not totally, the execution isn't quite there. Right? I can tell you got the idea. You're like, okay, I can go for a fucking power clear here, right? Which is awesome. But yeah, you hit since you didn't tilt your car up enough, you're fairly, even when you go for this, you're still parallel with the ground.
Kind of flat,
Yeah. So better option here. You know, even with the timing, even if you pop this up like left, say your timing is a little slow, like even if I hit this a little slow, I would still boom this the fuck way back here, right? This could be all the way in their corner, right? So yeah, just a little bit more on the execution, something that you might want to pay attention to. is just maybe tilting your car back a little bit more, a little quicker.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That touch is a little rough.
Yeah, that was not what I wanted.
Yeah, that touch there. At that point, I'd say your best option right now, honestly, is to just hold boost and double jump into this. So, and you want, I'm gonna be, well, no, I'm gonna be specific. I'm gonna say pop it over, and I'm gonna say hit it on the underside, but more like right here, right? On the underside, but kind of still behind it, right? But you want to hit it on the very, actually, you kind of want to hit it on the top, but on the very top of the car. And what you can do is as you're basically just lifting it, right? But if you lift it right here, the car or the ball will actually go forwards because you're hitting it on the backside, right? It's going to propel it like that way. But if you double jump, it'll actually have a, I'm telling you just right now, just trust me on this. If you just go underneath the ball right here, let's see. If you just boost all the way through right here, if you know you're, again, it's obviously you have to know that you're going to be able to get this touch, but the ideal scenario is that you would just continue to boost this whole time and you try to get a pop up again over both of them. Actually, even to that point, even when you go for this shot here for a bounce dribble or a 50-50 or whatever you're doing, double jump would be better here. Because when you flip into it, you're pushing it to them. You're pushing it to them.
Yeah.
You're basically giving them the ball rather than just popping it over them, you know, for a more deadly shot.
Right.
So in both scenarios, it would be better to double jump there.
Yeah, so the first touch, I definitely wanted to get like an air dribble going. It's just I got that heavy touch and completely fucked my whole play.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're totally right about the flipping into it. It's just hit it like right into them. There's like a 0.01% chance of that going in net somehow.
Right. Okay, so again, a more mechanical thing, but I'll tell you what I would do in this exact scenario is you're shadowing in a good spot. You're in a good spot here. You're waiting. You know Popster's still got to drop back. Once you know that this ball is going to be given away, you have to turn slightly to the right and catch it like right here. And on the circle is going to be to your left. So you catch it and grab the boost and go up the net with it. You'd get a perfect catch right here. So ideally, you'd be able to get this boost. Your first priority is just to catch the ball, I guess. So from your perspective, I can explain a little better. Hopefully that makes sense here. But your idea, you were facing the right spot. But now, because you're on like our right side, you know, you're on our right side of the ball. You're basically pushing it towards the net at this point. You want to be on the other side of it, on the left side. So yeah, you want to be on like this side of the ball and then catching it so that way you can push it back around on this side. That would be a little bit more mechanical here. That'd be really difficult, but especially when it hits the corner like that, man, that does really suck. But yeah, that's what I would do in this situation, to be honest with you. If I can just talk about what I would do in that scenario. There you go. I'd like to catch. Decent. Honestly, double jump here too would be decent.
Like after the first touch?
Yeah. Yep. Once it's in the middle of your car. Again, this is very, very, very quick, right? Decision making.
Right. So boom,
you know he's coming at you at some point. Double jump right now. You have enough boost. If you can follow this, you know, even just to get another 50 in the air, you have a potential to dunk him. Obviously, it's 0 seconds, but yeah, it's fucking 0 seconds. I totally forgot. Yeah, your other option is just to flick it to the right. You can totally beat him still.
I guess I felt right here I didn't have enough control to do a flick, and it would just I would just flip under it or something.
Yeah, true. I think it's more about fucking replays. Yeah, I think it's more about just getting it past him, because it's not necessarily that you have a really, really controlled flick. It's that if you just keep it in the air at this point, because yeah, if you flick right, it might just hit the wall and bounce back out center for you. And if you stay on the ground enough, if you're quick enough, you can recover and still catch it. So it's not about getting a clean flick. Obviously, it's 0 seconds. You guys are down. You got to get past. You got to get it past the guy. So if you can't double jump and go over him, you got to get around him to the right. So you got to like make a maneuver quicker.
Right.
So that somehow didn't fucking hit 0 seconds on the ground there. Holy. Okay. Yeah. GG boys. Honestly, not bad. It's a lot. We went over a lot, I think. I definitely broke that down a lot more than I expected to. Do you guys have any questions about anything I said?
No, that's
anything in
great.
general.
Yeah, just huge thanks, man. And
Yeah.
that's
I will say, if I can summarize, just kind of gonna reiterate some of the bigger points. I found that like, boom, that you guys had too many scenarios where you were either too close to each other, or you were literally in front of each other blocking the other guy going. That's number one, right? Let your teammate make a play, right?
Yeah.
Let the play develop. I'd say that would be number one. That would help each other out, right? That would help each other. That would be number one. Number two.
Yeah, thanks for letting me sit in, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Then number two, if you're ever in a scenario, try to just get the fuck out, like quicker. You know,
Yeah,
drop
that's
back
my big
quicker.
takeaway.
Drop back quicker. That's my number two.
Okay.
Number three, it's a bit hard to say. I'd say more mechanics, right? Of just knowing like when to flick and when to get rid of the ball. You know, that kind of shit. You know, the little piddly like mechanical stuff of like, okay, do I flick it? Do I, you know, I'd say more execution is probably number three, you know. Obviously mechanics will come with time if you practice it hard enough. So I'd say your guys' decision making actually is pretty decent, but your positioning is number one, right? Your positioning will help with your decision making. So that is definitely number one.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of, no offense to you guys, I'm going to treat you guys as like plats and like as the golds and stuff that I've also coached already. So I apologize, but just for a second, humor me. I've been showing people, like especially the lower rank players that can't really control the ball really good, is to be able to like roll the ball forwards, right? Get ahead of it, you know, and then practicing dribbling down the length of the field, right? Then, like Rainey says in his coaching and stuff like that, of being able to maneuver the ball in circles and around the field. Notice how I'm not using any boost whatsoever. I think both of you guys could improve on some of this stuff too. Is like the dribbling, right? Like being able to flick it, being able to execute when you need to. Having that very good, minute ball control will help you guys a lot, I think, as far as the execution stuff goes. You notice that I noticed a couple times, you know, like, hey, you know, your flick wasn't that great, or like you couldn't pop it over a guy, whatever. I think if you guys slow down in free play, try not to do jump resets and all that other bullshit. If you just slow down and literally just do figure eights and see how long you can dribble with the ball in your car. If you can do it indefinitely and you can get like really clean circles like this, you know, then work on doing back foot flicks, side foot flicks, picking it up off the ground, being able to flick it off the ground, you know, those kind of drills. That'll really help in game, especially like picking it up off the ground and getting side flip flicks like that. That's probably number one. That's probably number one. That is, yeah, I think, you know, there was a couple scenarios where that came up in the game, right? So, so yeah, I think that could probably be improved upon. One of the things that I like to do actually, especially in like ones and twos, is just back foot flicking and being able to catch it again. So. That's something that you guys could work on as well. I'm not sure how often you guys know how to backflip flick, but that's another flick that you can add to your arsenal, especially in ones. Sorry, what?
Were you canceling that right there?
Kind of. So I do a corner flip, and then I kind of tend to just do air roll or cancel it. Like, yeah, if I'm gonna do like a backflip flick straight, yeah, I guess it is kind of like a half flip, right? Where like, yeah, like I do tend to cancel it, but it's not a requirement.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'd say just focus on, if anything, I'd prefer you guys do side flip flicks and then slowly like back flip flicks as well.
Sure.
Like trying to be able to catch it like this. It's more like, even this, I'm doing more of a side flip, but like backwards.
Right.
More of a diagonal flip. Damn, you can see that almost hit the ceiling.
Wow. Yeah.
Backflips destroy in ones.
Yes, they do. It's my most executed move in ones, for sure, by a long shot, and it still works in GC. So but yeah, I think the side flip flicks and picking it up off the ground and like building off of that from the ground up, you know, literally and figuratively, will help both of you guys in terms of like being able to execute in a game. So I know it might be boring, but you know, I think having that minute ball control without boosting will really help, of like being able to catch it, you know. Then yeah, like Rainey said, actually something I never thought of is just adding like little hops, right? Then trying to do it. So, you know, adding dribbles, like when it's bouncing, still getting flicks, right? Getting little touches here and there, then being able to flick it. You know, you guys get the idea. And you can see, you can see, hopefully it shows on my gameplay, right? How like controlled it is. Damn. Oh, that hit the ceiling. There we go. Hopefully you guys can see how controlled it is. And that really helps of like, I call it being friends with the ball, right? I'm really good friends with the ball. I can push it around all day, right? I can maneuver it however I want. I can pick on it as much as I want. I'm really good friends with the ball. So if you guys become better friends with the ball, it'll help you out in game.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Adding
This is the number one thing I plan on working on, because like, was it module 2 said you can move on from the dribble training when you complete it in 12 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Well, the fastest I've done the overhaul is like 40 minutes, so
gotcha.
Do need work there.
Actually, yeah. So I think I'm sharing my screen. You guys will get to see my secret pictures on my computer.
Hopefully there are no dick pics.
No.
Sorry if that's bad for you too.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So let me see. Ice rings. My PB is 13:13 right now. My dribble challenge, I just got a new PB. Actually, in my pre-training video, I got 7:28.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, see, like my rings is like 17 minutes, and then my overhaul is like 42 minutes.
I actually
with like 100 deaths.
I did my first run backwards. When did I do this? On the 13th, so 3 days ago, and I got 18 minutes. So I still have a lot to work on yet. I haven't really done left rings a whole lot, but yeah, my dribble challenge stuff is insane. So
yeah.
One other thing too of like other workshop maps, you know, don't be afraid to do, like, there's one called Noob Dribble. You can do that one in like 10 minutes ish. That one's pretty good. That one's actually dribbling more uphill and stuff like that. Eversax will help with, I did that one in 58 minutes. I got to work on that time. I'm trying to get it under 30. That one's insane, but the first couple levels, even if you guys want to download it, are actually teaching you to jump over lasers and like catching it and keep going, dribbling. So that'll help with like the jump catching and stuff like that too. So yeah. The air dribble hoops is insane too. That one obviously was like ground to air dribbles and that kind of shit. So yeah. Oh yeah, Lethamir's Manscaped Challenge. That's another one. I did that one in 50 minutes. That's a lot of like dribbling left to right, you know, jump catching, going around platforms, just like the dribble overhaul. So if you guys want a map that's similar to overhaul but a little different, you can do Lethamir's Manscaped dribble challenge. So yeah, just a couple pointers for you guys as far as if you want to do something a little bit more other than free play.
Yeah. Just gotta work on dribbling.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions or anything?
I have a real quick question. Couple questions.
Go for it.
What do you go by?
Oh, Aaron. You can
Avatar?
Avatar is fine. Most people call me Avatar. My first name is Aaron. You guys can call me by my first name as well. That's fine.
Cool.
Yeah. Usually people just call me Avatar.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Second question is like, I know you're probably stacked, and there's no rush, no need to do this, no need to do it at all. But if you had a chance, could you record your little free play session that you just showed us, basically, and post it somewhere? So,
actually,
just to get like inspiration.
I have been recording this whole time, so it will be up on YouTube later.
Oh, right, of course. Okay, perfect. So
and if you want more of that, I actually have my YouTube channel on my. If I go to my playlists, I've got my GCR playlist. In my pre-training video, I've got my 10 minutes of free play. So I actually, I don't know how much of that I've got it timestamped and everything. So I went through my dribble overhaul, my ice rings. I did the ultimate warm-up training pack. So it's 50 shots, a lot of double taps, a lot of the aerials, a lot of that shit. So then, yeah, in my free play, I'm not exactly sure. You can see I did some dribbles. I try to do dribbles and drifting and stuff like that, something I'm working on. So, yeah, I did, you know, obviously more fancy stuff, right? Luke said to try to be as fancy as you can, so double jump reset is nice. But, yeah, try to do, like, drifting and dribbles and stuff like that. So you guys will see me do my 10 minutes of my free play and stuff like that, too. So if you want more of that, that's out there too.
We'll start with the dribbling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But if you guys want more inspiration, you can see my dribbling here as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah. One last thing, then I'll share kind of all my resources here. So if we go to my training packs, I actually can share this all with you guys. I'll just give you the link while I think of it. And Popster, there you go. And sockets, there you go. So these are all my favorite training packs. These are my ones that I favorited over time, and these are the ones that I've spent time on, and I really like them. I also have a tab on the bottom. It says Avatar Created. Obviously, these are the ones that I made. I've bolded a couple ones that I've mainly recommended people to do for the GCR and stuff like that. My corner setup is great. My vertical wall setup is my generic setup for like freestyles and aerials and stuff like that, ceiling shots, jump resets, etc. But my wall reads training pack is probably the best one as far as like it says, like learning how to wall read, getting, strong shots off the wall, etc. That's probably the best one there. So I've got ground air drags, I've got double taps, I've got a whole bunch of shit. Go ahead.
On the wall reads thing, is that like taking power shots off of it, or popping up?
Actually,
as it,
yeah.
Because the 2-touch thing, like I can do power shots off of that thing all day, but the second I try to jump before, actually doing the read itself, I'm completely lost.
I did have it. Okay, yeah. So this is, I think I posted this to Reddit. It actually got quite a bit of feedback. I made this years ago when the custom training was even a thing. So the first one, I will say, try to do a double tap if you can, but the main thing here is that it includes the ceiling. So you have to know to double jump out. Not necessarily that you have to do a double tap, but knowing that you have to double jump out away from the wall and being able to follow it. So that one I got a lot of good feedback on. And a lot of this is mainly just, okay, can you line yourself up for a shot? Again, I obviously try to, in my sheet, I try to say most of these are meant for me. So I try to hit most of these shots with the intention of it going in the goal without hitting the ground. So take it with a grain of salt. Some of these are totally unfair. But this one I've actually gotten a lot of good feedback on. So a lot of these will be those like this one I'll try to go for a redirect. Other times I'll literally just try to shoot it as hard as I can. Bet you that was 71. 57. Not quite. Fit with the bounce. This one's off the corner. Sometimes I just like freestyle that one. Your other option is to kind of come out. Yeah. So again, wall reads, right? Just being able to go up the wall, being able to maneuver in the air, or even just being able to get like a redirect, right? A doomsday dish, whatever. So yeah. This one, I think it's mainly just going off the ceiling or getting a doomsday dish of some kind. But yeah, you guys get the idea for that one. Oh, this one's nice. I usually take off ball cam and go for a doomsday dish on there. Most of the training packs as well, I've got a YouTube video up. So if you look up the training pack name, I might have a YouTube video on how I plan to do it or want you to do it. So something like that. So if you got any questions about my training packs, I probably have a YouTube video about it. Nice. My corner setup one is more for air drags. So this one, if you look without ball cam, if you just boost the whole way and don't turn at all, you have a really good setup. So this one I use for like my musties and all that kind of shit. But you can also use it because it's a really good setup for air dribbles. So yeah, and then that's a couple shots. Can I get it? Yes, I can. Okay. Then this one, the second shot, I made this before Baka's mod had like mirroring. So I made this one to be on the right side. Same thing. Then it gets even harder. Air dribble from the corners. Ooh, I actually meant for this one to be on this side.
You take it off ball cam.
Generally, when you're on a straightaway, yeah, you want to take off ball cam. because otherwise the height will be too much. It's always good to go from ball cam on the side when you're turning. But if you're going in a straightaway, then, you know, if you're straight already, then all you got to do is just worry about the up and down part.
Gotcha.
So yeah, then this one's off the other corner. I meant it to be off this one. Then anybody want to take a guess on where the last one shot is? It's actually
Backboard.
It's actually not a corner, but yes, it is a backboard. Not quite, but you get the idea. Try to get it to the ground, and this is very unforgiving. So yes, I do. This is like a warm-up for me. If I can get this within a couple shots, I'm pretty happy. So I do that one occasionally. So yeah. Actually, one last thing then about training packs is from ground to air dribbles, I use this Jake RL one. It's in the sheet. Is this first shot here is the best one for practicing ground to air dribbles.
You ever used a Bacchus mod, like the it can just start a bounce for you or roll it towards you in free play?
I do. Not as much. I only use, obviously, the one where it spawns on top of your car. The other one I do is I get it rolling and I press down to practice wall shots that way, or like simulating a pass. So I'll do this, and then I'll, you know, try to go for shots or whatever, that kind of shit. Or actually, what I do often is, yeah, just throw it up, and then just be like, oh shit. Try to catch it. So that would have been a scenario, I think, in game where you just kind of have to know where the ball is going to land. Like, there was that one that was in that far corner over there. That's a scenario where, yeah. It's like, okay, well, now let me try to catch this. Not letting it hit the ground, right? That kind of shit. So, yeah, you can kind of use it. It's only as good as you want to use it, right? So I'd say those are the main three things, is just, yeah, spawning on your car, passing up the wall, and then just for catches.
Cool.
So yeah, I think that's all I got for now. Any other questions or anything before I head out?
1v1 no balls?
No, I'm absolutely, I've done, this is my 4th session today, so I'm exhausted.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I've done 4 1-hour sessions already today. So yeah, sorry, I'll have to be another time. I'm down any other day though.
No balls.
You're not getting me with that one. Sorry. All right, I think that's all I got. Like I said, I will. I'm putting this in the GCR playlist. You can check my profile on Discord and get my YouTube link on there as well. So.
All right. Thank you
Thanks,
so much
Aaron.
for your time.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good one. I'll see you guys around. I'm sure I'll see you guys this weekend.
For sure. Take care.
All right. Later.